Hey traders, it is Sunday night, May the 2nd, 2021, and I wanted to update you quickly on our hedging ideas that we've been working on since back in the early parts of March. All right, so just a very quick update here. Back on about March 9th of this year, we started this concept of educating our trading members on hedging. Now, we started with a hedge, and then we went to a hedge on the hedge, and then a hedge that is hedging the hedges. So let's talk about this a little bit. We started back on March 9th. Right in this area right in here, and I started shorting the MES. Now the premise was twofold. Number one, we had some trades that were very bearish in nature. We had some 0-date expirations, we had some 4-date expiration trades that had some heavy put positions on, some credit put positions that would lose money if the market went down. So the idea was twofold. Look, number one, the market's at an all-time high, probably a greater propensity than not that it goes down than up, so I'm going to position myself to make money if the market goes down. Shorting the MES does that, and then it also, of course, hedges my other trades, right? So that was sort of the premise. Now, I don't know if you can tell by the chart here, but I was completely wrong. Just completely wrong. We wanted the market to go down, and the market obviously has done nothing but go up, 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 up. Okay. Now, one of the things that we talked about was that's okay if you are scaling into the trade. So we had to scale, scale, scale. I started out at 1 or 2 contracts. I had the buying power to go to 25 contracts. I'm at 21 now, so I'm getting very, very close to maxing out my position size on this hedge to the downside. But along the way, we start to adjust the hedge. Now, originally, just a very small directional hedge, right? I had 1 contract, 2 contracts, 5 contracts, 6 contracts, 7 contracts, but a small amount relative to my portfolio size, completely directional in nature, completely directional. It made money if the market went down, it lost money if the market went up. Well, the market is now working against us, right? So the market's going up, we wanted it to go down. So how do we adjust it at that point? Well, I'm still, as you can see, adding contracts to this. I'm up to 21 contracts. That improves my cost basis every time I add to that. But most importantly, we started to hedge the hedge. And that is adding in covered positions. Now we're short here with the MES, so it would be selling covered puts. You know, if you were long, you would be selling covered calls, but that started to generate cash flow. So now we're starting to hedge the hedge. Even that was not enough. You're bringing in $1,000, the market is going up and losing you $2,000 maybe, okay? So we're still not keeping pace with the marketplace. So now we want to start hedging the hedge with another hedge. So I started to go long the ES minis and offset these. Now that's a 10-to-1 ratio, so I have 21 of the short MESs here. I was able to go long 2 of the ESs and help offset those over this time frame and sell covered calls against those, and then I'm bringing in income on both sides of the trade. So I just wanted to talk about trading around the trade, hedging the hedge, and sometimes hedging the hedge that hedges the hedge, and how you kind of keep track of all that when you are now figuring out where to go with this and what to do with this. Okay, so very quickly here, I'll show you just some rough numbers on my situation. You can see right now that in my new contract, I'm roughly at about $4,000. $4,000 is my cost basis on these 21 contracts. But we've got to go a little bit deeper than that. So first of all, we need to look at my transactions. Now, I just closed out those 2 long. You can see right here, this is tonight, Sunday night. Futures open up 4 p.m. Sunday night, my time, Mountain Time. And just about 2 hours ago, I closed those 2 long positions out. I believe we're going to have a little bit more weakness here in the marketplace. So I closed those out, but I have been cash flowing those. So now you see in my positions right there, that's all I've got open is my short. I'm short the market. Okay, I'm short 21 contracts of the MES. Now, look at that number. Isn't that a lovely number? Down $20,000. Okay, remember, this is your open position. So this is where it gets tricky a lot of times, trading around the trade, cash flowing trades. You have to be able to sort of figure out what your real cost basis is in your situation so that you then know where to cover or where to cash flow it at. Okay, so let me just show you the quick math that I used here. Yeah, I'm down 20 grand on that open position there from, obviously you can see where my cost basis is, and we're well above that. We want to be below it, not above it, right? But if we look at my trading activity, let's go back to when we started this whole process. And here, let's see, this is, yeah, back to March 9th up until today. So these are all of the ES trades that I've been hedging the hedge with. And you can see brought in about $15,000, have some expenses in there. So I kind of ballparked it at 12 grand. That's kind of what I put it at, was about $12,000 net after all fees and expenses. It looks like it's probably a little better than that, but that's okay. I'm going to ballpark it at $12,000 profit on my ES position. Now, if we look at my MES position during the same time frame, you see that I'm down about $5,500 plus some fees on top of that, so probably down about $6,000. So up $12,000 on my ES hedge, down $6,000 on my MES hedge. Okay, so we have, and of course these are all considering my cash flow. So when we look at my MES position here, you know, it says, well, my cost basis is $39.95. Well, that's technically correct, right? That's where I bought all of, that's the average price of all of these 21 futures contracts that I have sold short, but it's not taking into account all of that cash flow. So up about 12,000 on the ES side of the trade. I'm down about 6,000 on the MES side of the trade. Net is about $6,000 profit. $5 per 1 point move for the MES. Okay, $5 per 1 point move. I've got 21 contracts, so that's $105 profit or loss every point that this moves. So 105 points divided by my $6,000 would be about 57 points. 57 points. So I'm probably closer here to well, 50. Let's say 4,050, somewhere in that range. Rather than 39.95, it's probably closer to 4,050. Now, why is that important? Well, I need to now look at this hedge and decide where I want to put my covered legs in. So that number obviously helps me in deciding, you know, really where my actual break-even point would be. Now, for me, probably just an FYI for you guys going into this week, one of the things that you notice with the MES is that it only has weekly options. So the next one I would have to choose from is Friday's expiration. Maybe a little bit too much time for me. Not a lot of foresight to be able to look out that far into the future and know what the market's going to do. So for me, I might actually come in here and I might use the ES. Now remember, it's a 10-to-1 ratio, and so one ES contract would equal and hedge out 10 MES contract. So I could do 2 of these, right? And if we looked at this, let's just go out to Monday's expiration, kind of see what this would do to my buying power. I'm just going to pick a strike price here. It doesn't really matter what the strike price is. I just wanted to show you how it would affect my buying power here. See, isn't that interesting right there, right? So it looks like right here what I'm doing is selling a naked put on the E-mini futures, but it actually increases my buying power, right? If I went another one, again, it's increasing my buying power. So this would bring in $300 if I sold that right there, and it actually increases my buying power. Why is that? Well, technically from a risk standpoint, it is a covered trade, right? I'm short the MES, and I would cover it with selling puts on the ES. They're not technically the same underlying, but they obviously are. One is just 1/10 of the other. So I hope this little bit helps you re-establish or re-understand what your true cost basis is on a trade, and especially if you've been cash flowing it like we have been doing here, so that you look at this situation and we look at the MES and we know that that is not our actual number right there. Okay, so again, when you are cash flowing your hedges like we're doing, you need to be aware of that. So for me, probably this week, going to look to add some covered put positions on there using the ES, and I might actually take some of the cash flow from that, add a couple more positions to this. The last couple of times that I've done that, I've been able to increase my cost basis by about $10. So, you know, if I'm $57 above where it actually shows me here right now, I could increase that by another $20. My feeling is that at some point I'm going to catch up to the market here, and this number right here will turn to a nice green little number. But anyway, that's how we're cash flowing our hedges, guys. I hope that that helps in sort of understanding the math or the idea behind how you calculate your new adjusted basis rather than just looking at what it's showing you in your charts.